All right. Well, welcome everybody to this regular school board meeting, December 10th, 2025. But to Dan, say the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Well, it's been an honor with you guys. It's been fun. Can I please get a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
I'll motion to adopt the consent agenda, sorry.
Second.
We need the.
Yeah, because they do point order, I think we gotta do
Oh.
the agenda first.
Oh.
Stop the agenda first.
Oh, sorry. No.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, sorry, trying to get out of here.
No game night, no game night.
Can I please get a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion to adopt the agenda.
Okay,
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Can I please get a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
I'll motion to adopt the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I guess it's my pleasure to designate the president pro term, Mr. Jared Caruza.
Thank you.
Cool.
Here. Are you accepting? Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, the next agenda item will be the director's oath of office.
Oh, cool, that's me. Okay, so that actually involves you, Mr. Pro Term. So if I could have you come over here, please. So the reorganization of the board always occurs after certification of the votes, and we had two elections or two positions elected, and so this is a new oath, and so I need you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jared Caruza,
I, Jared Cruza,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I'll support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington,
and the Constitution and the laws of the state of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially perform
and I'll faithfully and impartially perform
and discharge the duties of the office of
and discharge the duties of the office of
Meridian School District 505,
Meridian School District 505,
Director District 2,
Director District 2,
in and for the County of Whatcom,
in and for the County of Whatcom,
State of Washington,
State of Washington,
according to law
according to law
and the best of my ability.
and the best of my ability. Cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And then we'll have you sign this afterwards.
Okay.
And then it's fast. Yes. Good idea. So raise your right hand, please. I, Jasmine Fast,
I, Jasmine Fast,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington,
and the Constitution and the laws of Washington State,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties of the office of,
perform and discharge the office and the duties of
yes, Meridian School District 505,
Meridian School District 505,
Director District 3,
Director District 3,
in and for the County of Whatcom,
in and for the County of Whatcom,
State of Washington,
State of Washington,
according to law
according to law
and the best of my ability.
and the best of my ability.
Congratulations. And we'll
Thank
have you come up and have a seat on the board.
Oh,
Back lunch is to get late night.
I saw the agenda, 2 pages. Thankful.
Awesome. Okay, so menu item number 5, annual reorganization of the school board. Can we have a call for nominations for board president?
I would like to nominate Jared Cruza for school board president for the year of 2026.
I'd like to second that nomination.
Do I accept?
If you're interested.
And roll call.
And you want to ask if there are any other nominations?
Is there any other nominations?
And these are roll call votes. So we need to call for a roll call vote for this.
Okay, can we call for a roll call vote?
In favor.
Michelle.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Great.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Cool. Can we call for nominations for board vice president?
I'd like to nominate Marty Gray for vice president.
I'm second.
I will accept.
And then can we have a call to roll, or roll to call? Sorry.
Aye.
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 Great. Awesome. Congrats, Mark.
Thank
Yeah.
Right, call for nominations for legislative board representative.
I'd like to nominate Marty Gray.
I'm retired. I got.
I will second that, Marty.
And I will accept.
Marty.
And I know we didn't do this for the vice chair, so sorry, but do we need to ask if there's any other nominations?
You're right, we didn't, but no one else jumped up, so it's okay, but you keep her, yeah.
Okay.
Not happening, so, okay, roll call with you.
We'll call for a roll.
Aye.
Aye.
Call for nominations for WIA board representative. I will nominate Jana Hogan.
I would second that nomination.
If you want to do it.
I accept.
Any other nominations? Okay, roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
First item of action is recognition for outgoing school board director, Steve Corbin.
Okay, so Mr. Four, would you please come up here?
Sure. Throw my laptop back.
That would make you happy. So I'm gonna pull this out. We have, historically made it a point to honor and provide gratitude for the work of board chairs and board members. And so this says, Meridian School District recognizes Steve Corwin, 2022 to 2025 School Board Director, presented an appreciation for your dedication and devotion to serving the students and families of the Meridian School District. So I'm gonna hand this to you, and I'm also gonna read a little something here.
Thank you.
So I wrote it, so I did mess it up. So tonight, we extend our sincere gratitude to Board Chair Steve Corwin for his dedicated service and steady leadership on the Meridian School Board over the past 4 years. Steve has guided our district through significant progress, including the expansion of early learning opportunities that now serve more children and families, the launch and OSPI approval of the Whatcom County Skills Center to strengthen our cradle to career pipeline, and the establishment of a clear, community-driven strategic plan that continues to shape our direction. His thoughtful governance, calm presence, and unwavering commitment to Meridian students and staff have made a lasting impact. Thank you, Steve, for your service to the district. And I'm honored.
Good luck. Have fun.
Thanks, Steve.
Bye,
Hey,
Steve.
Steve. Okay, first agenda item is staff recognition. MHS board presentation, Principal Sean Dopping and Assistant Principal Rob Zager.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome, Ms. Fast. It's nice to have you here. Thanks for having us. We really appreciate the opportunity to recognize some truly special staff members at Meridian High School. There we go. Yeah. Just had a few things to get through there. All right. So we would like to recognize our Meridian High School secretary team. It is made up of our head secretary, Kelly Gookstetter, who is here today.
They're not gonna come up.
They should come up.
They should.
Oh,
really
yeah.
come up. Whatever's happening here, Kelly.
Come on up.
I was fighting the same thing, Michelle, but I was like,
You can always count on me.
I appreciate it. Okay. So Kelly Goodsetter, our head secretary. Tammy Maines, our attendance secretary. Lori Blankenship is our registrar, and she is not able to be here tonight. And I also want to give a special shout out while she is a district office employee. Dory Lukes sits in our main office, and she she's doing her district office work, but she is definitely a part of the team and steps in from time to time when needed. So she's an integral part of the team. Truly, they're just the heart and soul of our building, and they embody each of Meridian's 5 core commitments. Oh, and I do think that Lori's watching though on Zoom, so she's with us.
That's what she says.
Might be in her robe, but yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, we'll see if Chuck tell them.
So just thinking about the, our first core commitment, with belonging, they greet everybody who comes in the door with warmth, care, smile. It's very genuine. Just that positive tone, the moment that anybody walks in the door, and they build a culture, in the building that in just a very positive way. And it's every day.
The communication that they oversee within our building is expansive in terms of connecting with substitutes, connecting with students, getting slips to students to get them in the right places. I compared this with Sean and I were talking about who to recognize, that I've worked in a handful of buildings in my career. And this one is unique as far as I've never worked in an office that is this warm and inviting. And I proposed it to Sean as this is very much like coming into my grandmother's kitchen, who had 6 daughters. And as soon as you walk in, you're a part and welcomed into a conversation. And it's just, it's an amazing office that all people feel welcome.
The support is second to none. They keep us in line, which is a tall order. I think that's probably the toughest part of their job, but they anticipate the needs of the building just throughout every day, and they help without hesitation. If it's going to support students, if it's going to support the people who are helping students, they're going to do it. If a student goes missing, a female student, and teacher calls us, we need help finding them. All right, I guess we're doing bathroom checks. We make those rounds. If it's, just running errands, it's doing all the little things. Kelly has even said, we do the things so that you guys can go do the other things. They don't say no. It's always yes. If it's going to help support students, they're willing to say yes.
They are genuinely concerned for the wellness of our staff and our students. Great example. Today I was in a meeting, a school was dismissed, and I heard the intercom come on, and Kelly said, over the intercom, if you're driving today, make sure your headlights are on, go the speed limit, look for water on the road, and literally said, your office moms want to see you at school tomorrow, right? And then in my mind, I was like, that's gonna come up tonight, right? And so the wellness and the concern that they have for our staff and our students is very genuine.
Absolutely. I think of when the core commitments is a little bit of an equation with, if you don't have the first 4 of those, you can't have the learning. And so the work that these women do, that this team does, they just, they make it possible for our students to maximize their opportunities to learn. And that's the core of it. That's what we're after. they're truly people that make it that much easier to come into work. They're a great part of my day personally, and I know it is for a lot of them, for a lot of the students and staff as well. They just make it a pleasant place to be. True experts in their role. Ask a question about attendance to Tammy. She knows the answer from day one. When I started mid-year as the assistant principal, I could just lean on her. So they are the experts, and they're just so quick to help other people grow their knowledge too. They're just a special team. And just to close on this, just thinking about it, if the people who in the building who know that these are the people who we selected this year, there's not a person in the building that would disagree with that. They'd be like, heck yeah, but why weren't they there last year or the year before? They do absolutely everything. There's nothing they won't do. And they just make it easy to come into work every day. So to the MHS secretary too. And they even came in here tonight, which is great.
Well, what I think so awesome is that, of course, they're both, alumni as well.
Right.
Kelly Sternich graduated in '89, and then Tammy Gilmore with 1990, right after Kelly was. But yeah, but what's so cool is how people who have such deep roots to our community, who are also employed with the district, stuff like that, because in my opinion, people who are from the community and have deep roots in the community, I mean, they're doing it more for just a paycheck. I mean, they're doing it because this is where I want to be, this is Meridian's, what I want to improve. And the work I see you guys do behind the scenes too, every graduation has been flawless. Kelly, amazing. You call it, you got this going on, you got guests who you got comment, and then Tammy at all the ball games, you're there and everything's organized and done, check, and it's just, so you do a lot more than just administrative work, but I really appreciate everything you do for the district.
Awesome.
I
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
that,
Thank you.
both work at seeing every child. Yeah.
Yes.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is public comment. No public comment. Okay. Yeah. Reports, we have no reports, so we'll move right on into new business. First review, behavior consultant personnel services agreement.
So this is a services agreement that is being brought forward by Aaron Jacoby to help support students with behavior concerns, and it just outlines the fees that are required for this contract and provides the details. So questions, Aaron said that he would field those to be able to share feedback from next meeting.
Yeah, we have something like this.
And we have something similar, yeah.
Any questions at all? Okay. Next item, first review policy 1005, key functions of the board, presented by Dr. Kurt Harville.
That does got a good ring.
It's good.
Still getting used to it, and I appreciate it.
I'll use as much as I can.
All right, good evening. Tonight we have 5 policies from WASDA for the board, and it's a first reading. So again, if you have questions, please let me know. And WASDA policies are classified as critical, which is required by state or federal law, and a specific program requires a policy in order to receive special funding. And so for that one, that's a Title I. And Title I is a critical policy. We receive Title I funding. Important is not required by law, but it's intended to reflect the spirit of existing or state federal laws. And then the last one is a discretionary. And this is a policy that likely deemed important by the board. It's more of a local policy. An example that I like to use is our civility policy that we created a few years ago. This is discretionary. Okay, so first one is policy 1005, key functions of the board. This is an update to an existing. And so one of the things that I have not done yet in this role is I have not retired policies. And so at the next board meeting, we're going to get that opportunity. And the reason we're going to retire policies is because WASDA has retired a whole series of policies They retired, I don't know how to name them, but I'll call them the zeros. And they recently retired them basically because they have put them into some of the other policies. And so this first one is an example. And it's 1005, again, key functions of the board. And all of the policies for review tonight are in the 1000 series. So these are all the school board's policies. I mean, they're all your policies, but these ones are specific to the school board. WASDA revised this policy to align with the Washington School Board standards, and I put a link in there if you wanted to look at that. And this 1005 becomes a comprehensive policy that includes policy 0100 as well as policy 1810. And basically what they did is they aligned this policy to the standards for the school board, which are outlined in the Washington School Board standards. And then they also provided indicators in the policy for those standards. And those are the major changes. One of the things I did tonight is because 1005 was, when you looked at the markup, it was kind of messy. So I gave you the clean version as well in there because it reads a lot easier. And then the other thing I did, I included the entire WASDA model policy magazine article that we receive quarterly. And so this is where many of my policy updates come from, is when they're updated by WASDA, they publish them quarterly and then we take them into action. The other way we publish them is with working with our legal counsel when situations arise. So, questions on this first one? Okay. Policy 1210. This is a little bit cleaner update by WASDA. And the change in this one, as I get to it, is again, it's aligned to the Washington School Board standards. But when the board does a roll call, the added languages in this one is a newly elected board member with less than 1 year of experience is not eligible to serve as an officer. Unless, for some reason, I think the majority of the board is new, then there's the exception. So that's the major change to this policy. The next policy is 1630. This one is critical. And again, WASDA revised this policy to align with the Washington School Board standards. And in this one, they added a reference to RCW 28A 150-230, which if you look at that RCW is the school district director's responsibilities. And they're outlined in there. Number 2 responsibility is to adopt policies for evaluation of the superintendent. It also dictates the use of executive session for evaluating the performance of public employees. And I imagine they put that in there because they evaluated a public employee in open session. A district did, and there was a complaint filed. That's me speculating. And then with the superintendent's evaluation, it lists the 8 categories that have to be part of the superintendent's evaluation. And this is, again, a critical. And then 1820 is board self-assessment. This is an update to an existing policy. This is important. And again, the minor changes to this one, again, aligned to the Washington School Board standards. They added that the self-reflection should be research-based. And then they also added language that once the self-assessment happens, it'll be reviewed and discussed by the board, superintendent, and team. So just clarifying language on these policies. And then the last one I have for you tonight is classified as important. This is a brand new policy by WASDA. And this one is each individual board member will annually review WASDA's individual school director standards. And I included that in your board documents as a basis for assessing their own conduct as an elected school director. And when you look at that outline, the 6 major functions, it talks about values and ethical behavior, talks about leadership, communication, professional development, accountability, and commitment to the education equity. And then the policy, when you look at the policy, it has each one of those, and then under it also has criteria for each. So these are the 5 new policies for tonight. At the next meeting, I hinted at it earlier, we will retire some policies. And when we retire policies, we go through the same process. There'll be a first reading where I introduce the policies we're gonna retire and tell you why we're gonna retire them. And then there's a second reading where you approve the retirements of those policies.
Do you ever archive or just retire? Done.
Retired, do we have a copy of them? Yeah.
Well, I mean, like some policy, you'll have to archive to reference for something like that, but if you retire one, it's eliminated, it's no longer.
I think if they're retired, they're eliminated. Yeah.
I'd like to just say that maybe when we go to, just as a note, when we go to our retreat in July, that we revisit all of these policies just as a refresher. Yeah.
Well, one of the things I was gonna share is the zeros, as I'll call them. Those are all about strategic planning, and they're about vision statement, and they're about mission, and they're about planning.
We do.
Yeah.
And most of those things they've incorporated into this 1000 series. But what they're also finding is most school districts go through the strategic planning process.
Sure, and this aligns with our strategic plan.
Yeah.
They align, yes. Yeah. And I thought it fitting that on new board member initiation or onboarding that we start with some of these policies. So, as always, if you have questions, please send me an email. Happy to have the questions.
Okay, on to old business. First item, second review and approval policy 2170, career and technical education. Any questions, comments before we go? Okay. No student board members? No. Can I get a motion to adopt second review, policy 2170?
I'll make a motion to adopt 2170 career and technical education.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I will abstain.
Second review and approval, policy and procedure 2420, grading and progress reports. Any questions, comments, feedback? Okay, can I get a motion to adopt policy and procedure 2420?
I'll make a motion to adopt policy procedure 2420, grading and progress reports as presented.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Everyone also say, okay. Second review and approval, procedure 3416P, medication at school. Any comments, questions?
Michelle, did you have questions on that? But did you get them answered?
Or do you remember?
Right now? I think we
Don't think
got
I got any
answered.
questions.
I think it was all out loud when they're in the meeting, so I felt like we did. Let me make sure.
This is one that in referring with our, I sent this one to Aaron Jacoby, Amber Ehrman and Stacy King. Stacy King and Amber expressed excitement that this was coming up. They also said they currently do not have students impacted by this, but they're happy that it is here.
I thought that was the renal insufficiency.
Yes,
We're talking
am I
about the
talking about the wrong
medication
one?
at school.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, that's with medication.
3416. Medication at school, sorry. Sorry, I jumped ahead.
So the answer for P, so any questions there, let's see.
if we have questions, do they have to pertain to the changes to 3416P or just the policy as a whole?
They most often pertain to the changes. Um, But if you have questions on the whole.
I did have a question about
then I'm-
3416.
Okay.
Just kind of like a in general, sunscreen at the elementary school. I read through the policy and there is a section at the very end that states that sunscreen is exempt from needing a doctor's note.
Maybe, yep, so over-the-counter topical sunscreen may be possessed and used by students, parents, school staff without written prescription.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know if that is in practice yet at Irene Ryder. The nurses still disallow sunscreen at school.
Let me look into that, because that is banging, that's old language.
Okay.
So let me ask that question.
Okay, thank you.
I would say anytime you have a question that helps with like this is a specific instance where you have knowledge of something else, but if there's ever any part of a policy that doesn't make sense or you want to get clarity on, ask us. We'll find out.
Can I get a motion to adopt procedure 3416P medication at school?
I'll make a motion to adopt procedure 3416 medication at school.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Do we need to ask like abstain? Or can I just say all in favor?
Well, she's offering.
She's offering.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's because you weren't here last time.
I wasn't here for the first reading, so
And then it doesn't necessarily chalk up as a no vote, it's just if she.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if I did say, are there any other?
It's kind of like when Laney's were doing like contract, I understand.
Yeah. Okay, second review and approval policy 3425, accommodating students with adrenal insufficiency. Any additional questions at all? Okay, can I get a motion to adopt policy 3425?
I'll make a motion to adopt, policy 3425.
Well, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
abstain.
Awesome. Item number 11, superintendent's report with Dr. James Evans.
Okay. Make sure I'm keeping track of where we're at. So the photo this time is our student advisory group at the high school. And I wasn't prepared to talk about it because I don't want to steal their thunder, but I will share a little bit. When the slide comes up, but we had a great WASDA conference and appreciate Jasmine you being able to make it, and congratulations again to all of you as being the board of distinction. I think that being in a position to share the great things that are happening in the district is fantastic for the district and also demonstrates what you do as a group to allow us to do the work that we need to do to support our kids. So I think that's great. Also participating in the pre-conference sessions. Can you speak? I know I didn't ask you, but can you speak just for a minute about the bridging with the students?
Yep, Logan, Eden and I sat in the pre-conference sessions and it was pretty moving. They focused a lot about bridging the gaps between students and the community and really focusing your ears on listening to what people are saying, and not so much about your presence or how you present yourself, and what we're missing by not listening and focusing on your words. And we did a lot of exercises on on practicing that. One of the things that was actually funny was you met about 10 different partners throughout the day and did things one-on-one. And as you talk to the person, they would say, we talked to each other for probably like 4 minutes, and then you turn with your backs to each other, and then they would say, okay, what's that person's eye color? What are they wearing? What are their shoes? You know, things like that. But you realize that those things didn't really matter because you were so focused on what you were saying. And that was like the importance of, you know, gathering the words of the conversation. Were you intently listening on the conversation, or were you really looking at what the person was wearing? And if you really caught everything that they were wearing, maybe you weren't really listening. So we really talked about those kind of things. But it was really hard, you know, it was really heartfelt. And I think everybody and the students really gathered a lot by listening to a lot of the older people that were in they called them the OGs in the session. Being able to capture and ask any kind of question they wanted to ask them in those 3 hours. And so ask them, this is the time, and listen to everything that they had to say. So it was really fun. So hopefully they got a lot out of that as well. Yeah.
Very excited.
So I think we're all excited to come back to the district and bridge gap between our students and our community and really focus on that in the next couple of years. So
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you for everybody attending and representing in the party hats.
Oh, yes, I still have history.
Oh, and there were t-shirts. I expect to see the t-shirts.
Yes, you'll see the t-shirt. On the 24th of November, I visited Fred Wiley's classroom, and so I'm doing the same thing as I've done in the past, where I'm visiting classrooms representing each grade. These were juniors, and oftentimes the students are asking questions ahead of time, and they typically fall into, what's my job? When's the building going to start happening? What's happening with the parking lot? You know, so all these different pieces. So we spent some time talking about that. And then we also had some questions about, is it turkey or ham? And Mr. Wiley does a nice job of creating a positive culture in the classroom. These are 20 to 25 minutes. They're not very long, but they really are. I taught for 17 years, and it's really great to go in and be in a classroom with students for a while and just hear what they're thinking about. And I will say, today I was with our principals down in Stanwood High School, and the effort that's happening right now with the University of Washington principal work is around getting feedback from students. It's not just student voice, but how are you putting students in a position to share what their experiences are? So today we had a panel of 12 students from freshman to senior talking about where the 3 things that they wanted to talk about was agency, belonging, and status. And so how do students understand that they have agency? What does it look like and sound like to belong? And then who gets to choose who has status? And so students were talking about where in different places in the school, they feel safe or like they belong, and different places. The building, I don't know if you've seen it, but it was built in 23, 22. It's new, it's large, it's very nice. But the Commons is not a place they want to be because there's no room. They don't have any room. They don't feel like they can gather. But it's a beautiful space. And so the adults hearing that that's something that they had assumed kids were enjoying. When asked if they felt like they could have a conversation with the adults in the building about how they authentically wanted to learn, they didn't feel like they could. And so, and now that staff that listened and participated, so we observe because we're not from there, but those who participated, they're going to take that feedback back and then work with kids to talk about how do we work on that information. So the student advisory groups are really providing a lot of that for us right now, but I suspect with the work that's happening with our principals, they're doing some of these panels with students as well. So I don't know.
I'm gonna ask if that's something we could do, grassroots effort, little smaller, more intimate groups and of those things.
Yep.
Conversation.
And I was just gonna say, I don't know if you remember two months ago, same thing that happened today at Stanwood, we had happen for the whole group at Meridian Middle School, and then Robert was the first one, and we had a panel of middle school students go through that process. So he and Jill are working on that too. Yep, yep. So great visit, Mr. Wiley's class. And then on December 4th, we had our student advisory meeting. And the way it works out is we're either at MP3 or with the high school, and then I'll run and grab the students that aren't there and we'll come back. And this time it was around AI. I think that Logan and Eden were inspired by some of the conversations that were happening at the WASDA conference. They both went to a session that talked about AI. And so Logan had questions for each of the school groups about, I'm stealing the thunder because they're not here, about how AI was being used in their classes. Do they hear anything from their teachers about AI? What do they have access in their Chromebooks? Aaron, Adrian, and Lisa are working on it's not an AI policy, it's a technology use, because AI, we wouldn't have a policy on word processing or a policy on Excel. It's a technology use. And so there is a draft that's being developed that will go to students, it will go to staff, go to community to get feedback on and then refine. And so this was timely and it was helpful. Lisa said that it'd be really helpful when they pull it all together and send it out for refinement. So that was the topic this time, and the students really appreciated the conversation. They all had information to share, so it's good. We did select our architect firm. We had an RFQ process in November where we had 8 firms responded for our request for proposals or for publications to build the Early Learning Center. And so we ended up out of the 8, we ended up with 2 that we wanted to hear more from. So we had them come in and present, and we had Adrian and Jay and myself in the selection group, Jay Yeager. And then out of that, Dykeman Architects were selected, and they have quite a history of working in Whatcom County, and they use Whatcom County subcontractors, and they also have a good history of building early learning centers as well. So we're excited to work with them. And then we're working on a contract. Mr. Yeager feels like he'll have a contract in early January to bring to the board. We're continuing our Shine and Thrive. These are the opportunities for parents, students, teachers to just write a nice note about students. And I will go out with the administrators of each of the buildings and we'll do just a quick interruption in class and honor the students. And man, every time they're just beaming. Kids clap and they get to stand up in front of them, so they're fun. And then I will tell you the WASA Legislative Conference is coming up in January. It's probably something as the legislative rep that you may want to accompany me. I've had several meetings in the last week or two gearing up for the new session. It starts January 12th. Again, we're looking at MSOC, we're looking at special education, and we're looking at transportation. There continues to be a shortage of revenue or the increase in spending, but there's a shortfall, and the projections on revenue keep becoming worse and worse. And so all of the word from the legislative group and from our legislators that are speaking with WASA and WASDA are saying there isn't new money. And what we're saying is stop with the mandates that are unfunded and make sure that we don't slide backwards. And so we're not really looking for big gains. It's a short session. It's only 60 days. We're going to hit that mantra that do no harm. So see where we go with that. This is the 9th and 10th. And then currently the 29th of January is a day on the Hill to go meet with legislators. That's statewide. And legislators get tired of having all these school board and people come through on that day. So I will speak with the other superintendents in the county and see if we want to target a different day, not the 29th. So we'll see what we can do there. We were going to meet tomorrow, but we're not going to because of all the flooding and what people are dealing with. So we'll figure that out. And I have an error here. Actually, I put January 11th. It was supposed to be December 11th, but we're not meeting tomorrow. So I'll correct that for the next time around. Holiday breaks coming up. First day of 2026. We'll be back on January 5th. We have a board meeting on the 7th and then we have the legislative conference I just talked about, and we have holiday on the 19th. One thing I do want to ask people to think about, and then I'll probably work with our new board chair, but as we have a couple of executive sessions that are coming up, since we have an earlier start at 5 o'clock, executive sessions have typically happened before that, but that would mean a 4 or 4:15. But we also know that people will know weeks in advance. Is that a barrier, or do we need to think about the other side and doing it the day? So I can talk to Jared and maybe we'll have some conversation.
Okay,
I can be there. Whatever.
Thank you.
Yeah, earlier is great.
Love that.
Earlier is-
That's all I have.
we do not have any board representatives, student board representatives. Any information from school board directors?
Oh, I did have a question. There was going to be a mini cheer tomorrow night and a basketball game and the presentation of the state banner. Will all of those activities, does the state banner move to the day on the 5th?
I do not know, other than those things were canceled because Burlington is canceled. So when other things are happening, we don't know. We'll reach out and find out.
If we could find out about the banner presentation for cross-country girl.
He was working through that today.
Okay, great.
Yeah, he did do it, and I actually, I did speak to one of the golfers too, and said, hey, you know, what you guys do is a big deal, I really think you should recognize, and so. He basically said, well, two of the golfers were a big part of getting the state championship, they're at college, and we really don't wanna do it unless they're here. So I did tell him, I said, well, if, you know, if they're home for like Christmas break or something, it's the last minute thing, let's talk to them. Even if it's 3 or 4 years on court, this, you know, that's a deal, so.
You have that basketball tournament, this is great at home.
Yeah.
So that's a tough way to do it.
Absolutely.
I always recognize kids and doing.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of basketball.
What about winter wishes?
Winter wishes is still the 19th. They still have a ways to go with fundraising, so please share the QR code, have it.
Money's due on the 12th.
Okay.
And just stay tuned for outfits. Usually during P3.
What time is that? What time is T3 again?
I think it depends on the day,
Yeah,
Friday.
10:15-ish or something.
Another thing, if we could make it, I wanna say, I think it's the 15th, the choir's doing the winter concert they do every year.
yes.
And I know when we show up, when I show up, Bitch is always super appreciative and board members show up, and it's a really good concert. But
What day is that again?
I think it's the 15th.
Okay.
That'll be a big
Monday
day,
the
because
15th.
that's also when they have rescheduled mini chair. So plan your parking ahead of time. But then can do maybe both.
Yeah,
Any of the events and be present at some of the music and some of the mini chair.
They did it at the Blackberry Trump a couple years back, and it was amazing.
Oh.
Just the acoustics in there was just,
Got it.
I told Mitch, I said, that was wonderful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome.
And so I told everybody, but the girls performed at Pearl Harbor Day Memorial Parade with 830 other cheerleaders from around the country. And the girls had the unique opportunity to meet on the deck of the USS Missouri and meet with centurions that were all World War II veterans and Rosies. Either being riveters or welders. Yeah, and so our girls bring home so much more knowledge,
Yeah.
hands-on knowledge about US history. And different patriotic things. It was a 2-hour parade representing all armed forces. And people from, again, all over the country, the bands that performed were amazing. The school from Virginia has our same fight song, so I recorded it for the girls. I'm like. So really fascinating experience for the girls.
Cool. Anything else? Okay, we'll adjourn and sign official documents. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Congratulations, Jared, Marty.
Yeah.
Yeah.